Hello and welcome to Greenlee Art Space. My name is Kimberly Hawking and I'm the director and curator here, and we are a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to enriching lives and cultivating community through art. We're so excited that you're here to join us for an afternoon of storytelling and song with Dennis Garcia and Kat High. This time we think is going to be a wonderful time to spend together. This current exhibit is thanks in part to a few different things, a grant we received from the California Arts Council. Thank you so much for supporting us in this venture. We also want to thank the California Department of Arts and Culture for their operational grant, which has helped us to keep our physical setting, which we think is so important to encouraging the arts. We also want to thank those of you who are our donors, and those of you who might want to be our donors. We ask that maybe you consider donating to us after this presentation. So those are some of my thanks. The other thanks I would like to give is to Kat High and to Gail Werner for their ongoing help making this show and all the different events that we've had possible, as well as to thank my husband, David Hawking, who is behind the scenes and does so many different things, and my son, Nathan, who's running the Zoom. So just a couple of logistic things before we start. We've muted you so as to not disturb the presentation. If you would please keep yourself muted throughout. There will be a time at the end to ask questions. You're welcome to put your questions in the chat. There's a place at the bottom of your screen where you can hit that and you can write a question there. Or you can ask your question in person at the end. Also, we will be videoing this. It's going to be presented on YouTube, and so if you don't want your picture in the video at all, go ahead and click on the bottom of the screen. There's an icon for a video camera, and you can click that and you can go ahead and turn it off. All right, well, just to get started, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the presenters and kind of the things that we're going to be doing today. So a little bit about Dennis Garcia. Dennis Garcia is a Chumash Fernandinho Tataviam elder and a traditional dancer, storyteller, and song carrier. During this event, Dennis will perform a blessing, a tradition in which white sage is burned. He will also tell the story of red-tailed hawk and kangaroo mouse, and sing the age-old songs that accompany these stories. Kat High is a native Californian of Hupa descent who works to showcase and practice traditional native culture. She has worked as an advisor for institutions like the Autry Museum, and is also a member of the California Indian Basket Weavers Association. High will lift her voice in song and story for this event. So, in honor of all of us who I believe we are all related, and that's the title of this, I would like to read to you from a poem that was written by one of my ancestors, one of my relations, my great-grandmother. She was a storyteller and a poet, and I believe this beautiful poem talks about some of the things that I would like to relate to you about how we are friends, and I'm so glad for the friends I have yet to meet and the friends that I've met through this. So this is titled The Awakening, and it's by Beatrice Moncrief, my great-grandmother. Oh, the glory of dawning, the hush and the quiet, save only the wind through the trees, the voice of a spirit that broods over all, in the bird song, the grass in the breeze. The shadows receding, the coming of light, the waking of hearts to new day, the lifting of burdens that last through the night, as the shadows or hearts pass away. Oh, the brightness of noontide, the full singing joy of a happy world flooded with light, the dewdrops of evening, the tears of the flowers, now dried and their faces so bright. Looking up to the heavens, a purpose steadfast, a beauty, a fragrance, a song. Though small, still a part of a glorious plan, just to strengthen and help hearts along. Oh, the joy of just living through sunshine and rain, with its lightnings, its thunder-filled space, or to walk all alone with your eyes to the sky and the glorious wind in your face. Just that urge to be doing, to make of the day something big, satisfying, and strong. a joy to remember a world better far that you've lived when shadows grow long. Oh, the calm of the evening to feel the quiet rest of a world after cares of the day. Like a soft goodnight kiss to the birds and the flowers and men's hearts as the light fades away. With the stars our companions to help us to know how they watch over men far and near, and a spirit which guides them throughout the dark night still will guide and will love, though men fear. Every one of these things I have known and have felt, wondrous dawn on noontide and night, the flowers and the birds and the wind through the trees, and the spirit which guides them aright. But my love sight was blinded, my heart could not see. I could touch them, but that was the end. For none of these things could really be mine until found in the heart of a friend.
Haku, welcome to Greeley Art Space. My name is Dennis Garcia. I'm a Chumash Fernandino Tataviam elder, and it's an honor to be here today. The first thing I'd like to do is recognize the people of this land, the Gabrielino Tongva people, out of respect because we are on their land. I'd like to do this blessing. Benakwish, the north. The direction of the eagle and the bear. The direction of the cold winds. The eagle soars on high. If he sees anything wrong here on Mother Earth, Utash, he tells the bear, which is the healer in all culture. And the bear takes care of it. The Homanakwish. To the east, Ulu. The direction of the spring, when the land starts to flourish. The direction of the deer and the hawk. The direction of day's beginning. The Hoalu. To the south, the direction of the snake and the owl. The snake is revered by us because it flies at night, has great vision. The snake, the closest thing to Hutash, Mother Earth, feels the heartbeat of the mother. The Hoalu. To the west, Wotoko. The direction of Pelula, the red sunsets. Direction of the dolphin and the raven, who guards our other world to make sure we're worthy of getting in. Where we leave this earth in the direction of Point Conception on the Milky Way. And day's end. Aho. Oh, Kukunamakwa, the creator. Oh, Hutash, Mother Earth, where all life comes. We thank you for this day. We thank you for the honor of being here and keeping our culture alive. Oh. I'd like to sing a welcome song. Hey, 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 ungawa, 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 hey, ungawa, hey, ungawa, hey, 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 ungawa, hey, ungawa, hey, ungawa. Eyungawa, Eyungawa, Eyungawa. Oh, haku, everyone. Thank you. When everyone would tell stories, I would, if my dad was with us today, my dad's passed, out of respect to an elder, we would ask him, we called him Pops, he said, Pops, what story would you like to hear? And this is a story that he would ask for. A long, long time ago, in a place that you know as Malibu, we call Humaliwo, the people of the village awoke from their homes. They called ops. They were dome-shaped and made out of willow and tule. And as they came out of their homes, it was a time of the year when the sun should be shining brightly. But there was no sun. The only light came from the fires in the village. So they tried to go about their day's work, but once they left the village to go gather or do certain things, they couldn't see anything. So they came back into the village, and they rested till it was time to go to bed. Well, they went to bed that night, and as they woke the next morning, the same thing happened. It was just total darkness. Well, they prayed for the light, but the light wasn't coming. And this went on for 7 days. No matter how much they prayed or asked the Creator to bring them light, the darkness remained. So the children were getting restless. They wanted to go fishing down at the ocean. They wanted to practice their hunting skills. They wanted to do many, many things. But that wasn't happening. On the morning of that 7th day, the chiefs of the village got together. We have women chiefs too. We have ceremonial chiefs. So everyone that was a chief got together and they sat in council. They said, what are we going to do? For 7 days, the sun hasn't come back to the Chumash people. Well, they came up with an idea. They said, let's get together 12 of our best warriors and send them out and see if they can find the sun and bring it back to us. So they all agreed. So men and women chiefs, we had men and women warriors. Some of our warriors were great craftspeople. Some of our, our men were hunters, and some of them were great hunters also, or boat makers. So they were considered warriors. So the warriors kissed and hugged their families goodbye, and they disappeared into the darkness. Well, an 8th day passed, a 9th day passed, and a 10th day passed. Still no sun. On the morning of the 10th day, out of the darkness comes an elder, someone like me. And with him, he has a little warrior that stands about this tall. And the people of the village approached him, and they said, what do you want with us, old man? He said, I brought my warrior to bring back the sun to the Chumash people. Well, they kind of chuckled because the warrior was only this tall. And they asked the elder, what makes you think that warrior's going to bring back the sun to the Chumash people? When we sent out a dozen of our best warriors, but the sun still hasn't come back to us. The elder just looked at them and said, I guarantee my warrior will bring back the sun to the people. So having nothing to lose, their warriors didn't bring back the sun yet. They brought the man into the circle. And the warriors started to dance. And the elder started to sing. Yummy, yummy, ho, yeah, yo, yeah, yummy, yummy, ho, yeah, yo. The warrior danced faster. Yummy, yummy, ho, yeah, yo, yeah, yummy, yummy, ho, yeah, yo. And the warrior danced even faster yet. Yummy, yummy, ho, yeah, yo, yeah, yummy, yummy, ho, yeah, yo. And as the warrior danced in a circle, he put his arms out like this. And pretty soon, feathers started to cover his arms. And then on his body. Until eventually his whole body was covered with feathers. He danced a few more times in the circle, and then he took flight into the darkness. The 11th day passed, the 12th day passed, the 13th day passed. No matter what the people did, the sun wasn't coming back. On the morning of the 14th day, in hopes of seeing something, they looked up into the sky. And as they did, from the east came a little glimmer of light. And as time passed, more light. So pretty soon they could see part of the sun, and eventually the whole sun was in the sky. And as they looked closely, they saw their 12 warriors come back over the mountains and down to the village, and the people were jumping and screaming and dancing. The families hugged their warriors and thanks that they they came home safely. And as they looked even closer in the sky, they saw the sun wasn't rising anymore, but it was moving back and forth. And as they looked, they could see the sun was setting on the tail of that warrior that had turned into that bird. Well, eventually, as he moved back and forth, he circled up above the sky of the east, and he dropped the sky off there. And he flew back down to the village, and the people approached him. They had many, many questions for him. What did the sun say to you? Did he say anything? Did he tell you anything? Before he could say anything, he just said, yes. They said, well, what did he say? He said, never take anything for granted, because you never know when that sun's going to come up in the sky. Well, what else? What else? What else? Just because someone is small in size and stature doesn't determine his strength, because his strength comes from within. And more questions coming out, more and more questions. So he didn't want to answer any more questions. He turned around and he showed him his tail. And he showed him his feathers that were this brilliant red. Where the sun shone on my feathers back here, he left it this beautiful red. And then he showed him there was a black scorch mark across all those red feathers. That's where the sun set on my tail. And that's the day that the red-tailed hawk was created, and he brought back the sun to the Chumash people. So we sing a song about that red hawk, Tasun Halik, and it goes like this. Tasun Halik, Haku te hale, Tasun Halik, Haku te hale, Atakapa wochile, Achoho with you, Ayawa ki wanawa, Ayawa ki wanawa, Tasun Halik, Haku te hale, Tasun Halik, Haku te hale, Atakapa wochile, Achoho with you, Ayawa ki wanawa, Ayawa ki wanawa, Tasun Halik, Haku te hale, Tasun Halik, Haku te hale, Atakapa wochile, Achoho with you, Ayawa ki wanawa, Ayawa ki wanawa, Tasun Halik, Haku te hale, Tasun Halik, Haku te hale, Atakapa wochile, Achoho with you, Ayawa ki wanawa, Ayawa ki wanawa, Tasun Halik, Haku te hale. Here's a little story that's kind of a lesson story, and it's all about a little kangaroo mouse named Chewump. Well, Chewump was down on the ground on a hot summer's day with his many, many, many brothers and sisters, because those mice, they make a lot of babies. And he was not happy down there. He was miserable, in fact. He was so hot. His brother kind of smelled. He was fighting with all his sisters. He says, man, I have to get out of here. He says, this is just not right. So he says, I'm going to ask Mom. He ran to his mother. He says, "Mother, mother, mother, please may I go outside? It's so hot down here. My brother smells. I'm fighting with all my sisters. Please may I go outside?" She looked at him. She said, "I'm sorry, Chewum, but Slow the eagle is out there, and he loves little kangaroo mice." Well, Chewum, like most children, he went in the corner and he sat and he pouted. But like most children, he didn't give up. As he was still being so tired of being down there and miserable, once again, he tried his mother. "Mother, mother, please may I go outside? It's so hot down here. My brother smells. I'm fighting with all my sisters. Please may I go outside?" Once again, his mother told him and reminded him, "I'm sorry, Chewum, Slow the eagle is out there, and he loves little kangaroo mice." Well, back in the corner he goes again, and he pouts again. Like I said, children do not give up. As he's sitting there, he's thinking and he's thinking. He said, "How am I going to get outside?" He comes up with an idea. He runs to his mother one more last time and he says, "Mother, mother, please may I go outside? It's so hot down here. My brother smells. I'm fighting with all my sisters. And how will I ever become brave and find my courage if I don't get into the outside world?" His mother just kind of looked at him and she thought for a while, and she realized that she's not going to be able to protect him forever. And they have to learn life lessons on their own. So reluctantly, she says, "Okay, Chewum, but remember what I said. Slow the eagle is out there, and he loves little kangaroo mice." Chewum, he's a kangaroo mouse. He starts jumping up and down. He's so excited. He runs to the opening of his hole in the ground. He looks out, and he sees a big oak tree in the distance. And he kind of pounds his chest bravely, and he says, "That's where I'm going." But just before he does, in case Mom knows what she's talking about, he kind of takes a look up in the sky. Mom doesn't know what she's talking about. There's no eagles out here. So he takes off. And just before he gets to that tree, we all know what happens. Here comes Chewum. He swoops down, he takes little Chewum in his talons, and he soars high into the air. Oh, Chewum, he's kind of crying now. Heart's beating 1,000 miles a minute. You know what he says to himself? "Guess I should have listened to my mother." But there's nothing he can do. He's in the talons of the eagle. He's caught. He starts to kind of calm himself. His heart's not pounding anymore. And he wipes the tears from his eyes. And as he does that, he goes up and he opens them up and he goes, "Whoa, look at the view up here. I can see forever. Wow, I can see Great Conception. Wow, look, I can see way over the mountains. This is unbelievable." So the eagle senses his heart's not pounding anymore, he's not shaking, he's not crying. And he looks down at that little mouse and he says, "Little mouse, what were you doing out there? Knowing that I love little kangaroo mice." He looks up at Slow the eagle and he says, "I was trying to be brave and find my courage." Well, Slow kind of starts to think and he goes, "Wow, poor little mouse, I wasn't very hungry anyway." He looks down and he says, "Today's your lucky day, mouse." He says, "Since I wasn't very hungry." He says, "And where were you going?" He says, "Well, I was trying to be brave and find my courage and go to that big old oak tree way over there." Once again, Slow says, "Today's your lucky day. If that's where you were going, then that's where I'll drop you." But the little mouse says, wait a minute. Before you do that one more time, can you circle the sky a couple more times? The view up here is amazing." So the eagle kind of looks at the little mouse as if to say, "No, press your luck, buddy." But he does. He obliges the little mouse, circles the sky a few more times, drops it right off at that tree. And that's the day that Chewum was brave and he found his courage. Uh-oh. And so we sing a song about that little mouse, and it goes like this. Chewum, 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 Chewilly-Kumahai, Chewilly-Kumahai, Chewilly-O. Chewum, Chewum, Chewilly-Kumahai, 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 Chewilly-O. Chewilly-Kumahai, 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 Chewilly-O. Ayunga, yunga, yunga, yunga. Ayunga, yunga, yunga, yunga. Ayunga, yunga, yunga, yunga. Ayunga, yunga, yunga, yunga. Chewop, 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 chewili kumaha, chewili kumaha, chewili yo. Chewop, chewop, chewili kumaha, chewili kumaha, chewili kumaha, chewili yo. Chewili kumaha, chewili kumaha, chewili kumaha, chewili yo. Ayunga, yunga, yunga, yunga. Ayunga, yunga, yunga, yunga. Ayunga, yunga, yunga, yunga. Ayunga, yunga, yunga, yunga. Chewop, 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 chewili kumaha, chewili kumaha, chewili yo. Chewop, chewop, chewili kumaha, chewili kumaha, chewili kumaha, chewili yo. Chewili kumaha, chewili kumaha, chewili kumaha, chewili yo. Ayunga, yunga, yunga, yunga. Ayunga, yunga, yunga, yunga. Ayunga, yunga, yunga, yunga. Ayunga, yunga, yunga, yunga. Chewop, 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 chewili kumaha, chewili kumaha, chewili yo. Chewop, chewop, chewili kumaha, chewili kumaha, chewili kumaha, chewili yo. Chewili kumaha, chewili kumaha, chewili kumaha, chewili yo. Ayunga, yunga, yunga, yunga. Ayunga, yunga, yunga, yunga. Ayunga, yunga, yunga, yunga. Ayunga, yunga, yunga, yunga. Chewop, chewop. I hope you enjoyed the stories. That's always my pleasure.
Sorry, folks, this distance stuff is really difficult. And I want to say hey, yung wimalyo, that's hi friends in the Hoopa language. And I wanted to welcome you to my home in Topanga Canyon. Topanga Canyon is homeland to the Gabrielino Tongva people, as well as the Chumash. And it's an interface between the two tribes right along Topanga Creek. So welcome to Topanga. And I wanted to tell you a couple stories. Dennis and I are both members of the California Indian Storytelling Association. And at next weekend, which had been the first Sunday in December, would have been the Satwiwa Winter Bazaar, and we would have been telling stories there. But welcome to the Greenlee Art Space Storytelling. And the first story I wanted to tell you is a coyote story. It's about how Coyote got his name. So a long, long time ago, up in the sky country, where all the creatures lived with Creator, Creator would go and wanted to call and talk to somebody. He'd say, hey, you in the blue shirt. Well, everybody in blue shirts would look around and say, who, me? No, you in the glasses. And everybody with glasses would say, who, me? Well, one day Creator had a brilliant idea. I have a brilliant idea. I'm going to give everyone a name, and then you'll know who I'm talking to. So Creator said, you go home tonight and you come to me in the morning and tell me what your name is going to be. Well, Eagle said, I'm going to be Eagle. Bear said, I'm going to be Bear. Skunk said, I'm going to be Skunk. And Coyote said, no, I'm going to be the most powerful. I'm going to be Eagle, or I'm going to be Mountain Lion. I'm going to go home and I'm going to stay up all night. So I will be the first one there to Creator. So everybody went home. Coyote said, I'm going to stay up all night. I know what I'll do. I'm going to sing all night. So Coyote started singing. Yana hey yane, 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 yana hey yane. He got sleepy. Yana hey yane, and he sat down. Oh, yana hey yane, and started to fall asleep. He says, "Oh no, this isn't going to work. I have to jump up. I have to dance and sing." So he started dancing. Yana he yane, yana he yane, yana he yane, yana he yane, yana he yane. And once again, he got sleepy, slowed down, and sat down. Oh no, this isn't going to work. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get these sticks and I'm going to hold my eyelids wide open all night. So I will be there at dawn. So he put the sticks in his eyes. He started singing, Yana, hey, Yana, and his eyelids got heavier and heavier and closed. And the sticks held his eyelids shut. And Coyote fell asleep. Well, the sun came up in the morning and all the creatures went to seek Creator to get their names. Eagle came and got his name and soared off into the sky. Bear came and got his name and became king of the forest. Mountain lion came and got his name and became the stealth hunter of the forest. Skunk came and got his name and his skills. Raccoon came. The little kangaroo mouse came and got his name. Inchworm even came and got his name, but no Coyote. Everybody looked around. Where's Coyote? We'd better go get Coyote. So everybody ran over to Coyote's house. And there was Coyote sleeping away, snoring. They said, Coyote, Coyote, wake up. He said, what's the matter? It's still dark out. They said, no, Coyote, you've got sticks holding your eyes shut. Oh my goodness, it's almost noon. Coyote jumped up and he ran over to Creator. Creator, here I am, I'm Eagle. No, that name's already taken. I'm Bear. No, that's already taken too. Who am I? Who am I, Creator? He said, you are Coyote. No, 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 I don't want to be Coyote. No, 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 not Coyote. They said, you are indeed Coyote, but you have a very, very important job to do. Oh, what's that? I said, you are going to the model to show people how things should not be done. And that's how Coyote got his name. So, Coyote being the kind of guy he is, Coyote was asleep by a stream one evening, and he said, oh, I'm getting hungry. I'm going to eat the first thing I see in the morning. So he fell asleep. Oh. And when he woke up, oh, he stretched. And what was the first thing he saw? But the sky. I'm going to eat the whole sky. I'm going to suck it down. And he started sucking. And the sky came down into Coyote's mouth. The stars came in. The sun came in. The moon came in. The clouds all down into Coyote's stomach. Well, it turned black as night without a star. And the birds were flying into trees. People were crashing into each other. This is not good. What are we going to do? Well, little mouse, and we love those little mouses, says, I have an idea. When Coyote snores, I'm going to climb in his mouth, go down to his stomach, and grab the sky and pull it out. Okay, he went down, he started pulling it, and oh, it was too heavy. And he says, hey, I need a little help here. rabbit came and grabbed hold of mouse and started pulling, and they're pulling, and it was too heavy. Raccoon came and grabbed hold of rabbit and started pulling and pulling, and it started budging a little bit. Raccoon says, hey, we need some help here. Come on, friends. And pretty soon, all of the animals, including bear, were in this big, long line, pulling and pulling on rabbit and raccoon and little mouse, pulling the sky. And finally they pulled it, they tugged and they pulled it, and out popped the sky. But it was kind of saggy. So Eagle says, I know, I'm going to fly it up to the sky high so it'll stay up there. So Eagle flew up into the sky and put it back up, and Woodpecker came and tacked it to the corners of the universe. And now that's why the sky stays in the sky. And the moral of this story is we need each other in this network of life to keep things going. So let's pull together. And that's the story of how Coyote ate the sky. And back to Dennis.
Okay, I'm back. This story is my brother's favorite story. This is a story about Goose the bear and Wahoo the owl. Well, a long, long time ago, when the Creator made all the birds, Wahoo was the most beautiful bird of all. He had a proud, regal beak that stuck out. He had beautiful eyes and silky feathers from the top of his head all the way down to his tail. And in the late afternoon, he would go and sit at the crossroads in this tree, and he could sing beautiful songs. And he was kind of full of himself, he's kind of vain, conceited, I guess you would say. And all the animals would come up one by one, Squirrel would walk up, and because he would hear something, some beautiful song, and he'd walk up at the crossroads, and he'd look up at the tree, and he goes, oh, Wahoo, that's you. Oh, your songs are so beautiful. I could listen to them all day long. And Wahoo would just look down at Squirrel, and he would go, I know. Well, Rabbit would walk up and hear these beautiful songs and say the same thing to Wahoo. Wahoo would just look down at him again, as always, and say, I know. Well, pretty soon, eventually, all the animals, rabbit, deer, raccoon, coyote, everybody was listening to these beautiful songs. And the only answer when they complimented him that he would give them was, I know. Well, after all those animals walked up, here comes Goose the bear, and he's kind of old. He's having problems seeing and hearing. And as he gets closer, he can start to hear these beautiful songs. And as he walks up, he looks up in the tree, and he sees it's Wahoo. He says, oh. As I got closer, because my hearing's not that well, he says, I could hear your beautiful songs. He says, oh, just unbelievable. Oh, and look at those beautiful shaped eyes, and look at those silky feathers from the top of your head all the way down, to your tail. Oh, beautiful. But Goose wasn't satisfied with just hearing those songs. As he was an old bear and he couldn't hear very well, he tried to talk Wahoo down from the tree. He said, Wahoo, I'm an old bear and I don't hear so well. He says, why don't you come down here and sing into my ear? And Wahoo says, I don't think so. He says, I think you'll make an owl sandwich. He says, but they're so beautiful and you're so beautiful. Come on down here. And all Wahoo would say was, I know. So back and forth, Goose and Wahoo went. Goose saying, come on down here. And Wahoo going, I don't think so. But Wahoo's vanity got the best of him. He started talking to himself and he said, why don't I go down there and sing so he can hear my beautiful songs and look at me up close? So he said to Hoos, put out your big bare paws, because I'm coming down. So Hoos put out his paws, and he flittered down. He landed in Mahoo's big bare paws. Oh, Mahoo's so happy. Oh. He said, oh, look at those almond-shaped eyes. They're so beautiful. They're like pools of water. They're just so beautiful. I'm getting hypnotized just by looking at them. He says, oh, and as he rubbed his feathers, he said, oh, look at those feathers. He said, they feel so good on my big bare paw. Oh. And Mahoo would just say, I know. Well, Who started to grab Mahoo a little bit and pulled him closer. And Mahoo said, Hoos, that's a little tight, don't you think? He says, oh, but I can't help myself. The feel of your feathers on my arms and my paws, oh, and as I glaze into your eye, look into your eyes, and oh man, it's just like, I'm hypnotized, I can't believe it. Sing to me, into my ear. And so he pulled him even closer yet. And Mahoo saying, oh, that's a little bit too tight. He says, I think you should let me go. And he said, I can't help myself. And as he did that, he kind of took his big bare paw and he kind of smashed his feather flat to his face. And as he squeezed him, his eyes kind of bugged out. And the feathers on the top of his head went boing and stood straight out. And Hoos was just mortified. And as you go on a hike in that afternoon and you go to those crossroads, you may not see Mahoo, but you may hear him. You hear him saying, Hoos did this to me? And that's the story of Mahoo and Hoos. So we usually sing a song about that poor, embarrassed owl, and it kind of goes like this. Yamakwiri, Yamakwiri, Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri, Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri away. Yamakwiri, Yamakwiri, Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri. Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri away. Yamakwiri, Yamakwiri, Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri, Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri away. Yamakwiri, Yamakwiri, Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri, Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri away, Yamakwiri away. Yamakwiri. This is not so much as a story as just kind of acknowledgement of our women, our givers of life.
Hello?
If it wasn't for my grandmother, I would not be here today, probably because as growing up and I assimilated into our modern day culture, I kind of lost my identity. I grew up in the heart of the San Fernando Valley, and it was all farmland. And there were a lot of Mexican people that came up to work the farms, and they started to speak Spanish to me. And I asked my grandma, why don't we understand these people? They get upset when we don't understand them. It was because they come from a place down south, and they said that's not our language. We've lost our language. We were trying to bring it back, but we've lost our language. So my grandma was a big influence on me, and my mom, who is strict but loving. You know, I always make jokes. You know, we didn't get beat or anything, but I always make jokes that she would hit you with this one and hug you with this one. But that's how my mom was. She wanted us to be respectful. She wanted us to, when we went out in public, to represent our families well. So we sing a song about the willow that represents, that's what we, the branches that we make our homes out of, our hops, our ancestral homes, and we thatch them with tule. And we compare our women to that willow tree because we would bend those branches. They were strong. They would bend, but they wouldn't break. And they created that dome shape. So we compare our women to those willow tree branches. When we're inside that home, it's like being in the womb of the mother. We're safe. We're secure. Where they always took care of us when we were sick. They always fed us, and they always made sure that we were respectful and we learned our manners. So I like to sing this song of the willow in honor of our life givers, all the women in my life, my wife and my daughters and my sisters and everyone around us. So here it goes. Hene ya 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 hone, hene ya ya hone, hene ya ya hone, hone. Shalu, shalu, oya, oya, shalu, shalu, oya, oya. Hene ya hune, hene ya hune, hene ya hune, hune. Shalu, shalu, oya, oya, shalu, shalu, oya, oya. Hene ya hune, hene ya hune, hene ya hune, hune. Shalu, shalu, oya, oya, shalu, shalu, oya, oya. Hene ya hune, hene ya hune, hene ya hune, hune. Shalu, shalu, oya, oya, shalu, shalu, oya, oya. Hene ya hune, hene ya hune, hene ya hune. Oh my, one minute. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dennis, for your stories and your songs. They really inspire me. So I'm going to tell you one more coyote tale. And this is about coyote dances with the stars. So Coyote, he was kicking back one night, once again, looking up at the sky. And he looked at the stars and they were dancing and twinkling. And he thought they were calling to him. And he imagined that they were absolutely beautiful Indian maidens. And he said, I want to go up there and dance with those stars. So he says, how am I going to get up there? I want to get up there. And North Star, the head of the star women, said, no, you can't come up here because we dance without stop. We dance day and night. Wherever we go, we're dancing. Well, I want to come up there. I'm a good dancer. I can do this. So Spider says, well, Coyote, I can weave you a web that'll go up to the top of the redwood tree. I can go up there. So he wove a web, and Coyote climbed up to the top of the redwood tree, and the redwood tree bent back, and like a slingshot, boom, or an atlatl, hurled Coyote up into the sky. Well, there he was. And North Star says, you've got to dance nonstop with us. Coyote says, I'm big and strong. I'm a good dancer. I can dance with you. So he started dancing with the ladies. And he danced, and he got low, and he twirled, and got low, and danced. And the star ladies thought, well, he's a pretty good dancer, but can he keep up? Well, they kept on dancing. Pretty soon, Coyote is going, ooh, I'm getting thirsty. No, you got to keep dancing. whoo, I'm getting tired. No, you got to keep dancing. So he danced on more and more, but he was getting really tired. And he got lower in the sky and lower in the sky and slower. And finally, boom, Coyote fell out of the sky like a burning ember and crashed into the land. And that's why we say there's Crater Lake. But Coyote, he forgets and he wants to go back up and dance with those maidens because they're still twinkling. They're still enticing him up there. So now, whenever you see a meteor shower, a shooting star, Coyote's tried to get back up there to dance with the ladies and just can't keep up. And that's the story of Coyote dancing with the stars. So back to you, Dennis, back to you, Greenlee, and I guess we can open it up for questions. Thank you.
One last thing is, I'm thankful for this space that allows our artists to, showcase their work, because you can see this all around. You can go online and see this virtually and see how beautiful everything is here today. But by finishing up once before we take on the questions, it was said that when we gathered around, that when we left those gatherings, that the people would sing this song, the song of the eagle, so that the eagle would watch over them as they headed home and make sure that they made it home safely. So I'd like to sing the eagle song. Away, away, ya, hey, hey, ya, Tina. Away, away, ya, hey, hey, ya, Tina. Away, away, ya, hey, ya, hey, hey, yo. Away, away, ya, hey, hey, ya. Away, away, ya, hey, hey, ya, Tina. Away, away, ya, hey, hey, ya, Tina. Away, away, ya, hey, ya, hey, hey, yo. Away, away, ya, hey, hey, ya, Tina. Away, away, ya, hey, hey, ya, Tina. Away, away, ya, hey, hey, ya, Tina. Away, away, ya, hey, ya, hey, hey, yo. Away, away, ya, hey, hey, ya, Tina. Away, away, ya, hey, hey, ya, Tina. Away, away, ya, hey, hey, ya, Tina. Away, away, ya, hey, ya, hey, hey, yo. Away, away, ya, hey, hey, ya, Tina. Oh, you wanna go next?
All right. Yay! Bravo. Thank you so much, Dennis and Kat. We are so appreciative of you. And what we'd like to do is, if people would like to ask questions now, you can either type a question in the chat box and we'll go ahead and ask it of either Dennis or Kat. Or if you would like to unmute yourself and ask your question yourself, go ahead and just, I guess, raise your hand, right? Should we raise our hand?
Yeah, raise your hand and have us unmute you so that we don't have people just.
So we don't have everybody going at once. So if you have a question or a comment, You can either type it in or you can raise your hand. Do we need to do it so we can see everyone? All right, so we'll look and see. Okay, so I see, I believe it's Mahogany, so we will unmute you.
Hi.
So, hold on. Oh, great.
Hey, everyone. I was interested in this, and this is very insightful. The question I had for you was the part where he was saying that the moms are like the willow tree. Can you talk more about that? Or what type of tree was it?
Yeah, we compared the women to the willow tree because, like I said, the willows grew near the water. They absorbed a lot of water, so they would bend to make that dome shape. So because our women are strong, they bend but they don't break. That's why we compared them to that willow tree that grew by the waters, and to help us make our structures that kept us safe and warm along with our families. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. That was wonderful. If anybody else has a question or a comment, yeah, we'd love to hear from you. I have a comment here from Rose Hyber. Says, thanks so much to both of you. The Northwest Indian Storytelling Association was formed in 2004 with help from the Californian Indian Storytelling Association support. So we are grateful for decades of leadership in restoring Native storytelling in the West.
Thank you.
And I believe Michael says, thank you. These stories and songs are beautiful. So we'll see if anybody else has a question or a comment. You can go ahead and just raise your hand on your screen and we'll unmute you if you would like to ask a question or leave a comment. And I'll just real quick while we're waiting to see if anybody else has a question or comment, I want to comment and say thank you so much to Dennis just for that beautiful experience and the way that it connects us to so many different things. Just wonderful. Bravo. And you too, Kat. Thank you so much for making this be a possibility for us. And we just want to say, yeah, beautiful. And yeah, and thank you. I want to say thank you to my son, Nathan. Here, if you guys don't know, this is my son, Nathan Hawking, and he's the one who's running everything and doing all the technical. So without our youth, we wouldn't be able to kind of exist in this alternate space. And then also my husband, David, he's amazing. He's behind the scenes. You probably can't necessarily see him unless he turns the camera on himself, which I don't know that he'll do. But anyways, oh, there he is. Yeah. Go ahead, Dave. Go around again. There's Dave. Thanks, Dave, so much for all your help. He does so much behind the scenes work, and he'll be the one who's doing all the work to put together this so it'll be posted on YouTube a little bit later this evening. Okay, so it looks like we have a question from Juan Castillo. And Juan, we're going to unmute you. Go ahead, Juan.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
We
Yes.
can. Yep, you're good.
Okay. First of all, I want to say hi. Hey, Kat.
Hey, Juan. Hey, Young.
I'm not familiar with Greenlee Art Space, so I just like to know where is this?
Sure. Yeah. So hold on just a second here. All right. Yeah. So we're located in Signal Hill, California, and we've been here for about 10 years now. So we've been really excited to bring lots of different art shows from the community to the community, and we work from people from all over the world. So we know right now it's not quite good for people to come visit us because of COVID, but we are still here, and we're excited to be able to work with this group of Native American artists. It's been really wonderful. So yeah, thanks for asking. We appreciate it. And you're welcome to you can find out more about us on our website at greenleeartspace.org. And we'll put that up kind of after the presentation. We'll put it up on there. And then also, if you want to check out our YouTube channel, we have a bunch of we have our opening from this show, which tells a little bit more about things and has interviews from the artists, as well as a blessing from a Tongva gal, and that's just beautiful. So yeah, you can find out more about us at those two different places. So thanks so much for asking, and we hope we get to meet you in person sometime. I'm glad we get to meet you through this venue. All right, so let's see. Marie says her favorite stories are the coyote stories. And Mahogany says, thank you so much, Dennis.
Welcome.
As wonderful presentations. And Mahogany says, when is the next story time? So I don't know. We'll have to. I like
Well, this COVID thing has got us really, restricted from doing everything. So I used to do a lot of school presentations, and the school's being closed and everything. It's not happening. So we are looking forward to the next time, because like Kat said earlier in the presentation, that we would have had a thing in Newberry Park at Rancho Sierra Vista San Juan. But it's just, because every week during certain times, they would have certain artists come out there, and they would open up to all the artists so they could sell their wares. And then we did storytelling and did, some drumming and some dancing.
I used to tell stories at LA County libraries, and I don't think anybody's been to a library in months. So hopefully when things get back and we're able to do storytelling events and do, I used to teach basketry, and with the Theodore Payne Foundation, teach about planting native plants. I think Jenny Arnold is somewhere in there, and we were really enjoying going out to all the county libraries to share our experiences. So we'll be back.
Wonderful. Yeah, and I'm sure Kat and I are going to be talking about the possibility of working together in the future to maybe be able to present more of the things like we've done. So I think the storytelling time is wonderful, and maybe it's something that we can look at doing more of. So we'll talk about it, and you can check out Greenlee. We do have an Instagram and a Facebook page, so we usually post everything there as well. So you can check us out, and we'll post anything if we have anything coming up. But we're in talks right now about potentially doing some things together in the future. So wonderful. Okay, so we do have a. Let's see, did I read that one already?
That's this one.
Okay, so from Deb Yates, I'm not sure I say the last name. I'll just say that. Says, thank you for the wonderful songs and stories. And then Catherine asked, are the stories universal between tribes? That's a great question. So did Dennis, you want to answer that?
No, there are some that are passed on and shared. Someone will from another tribe will come on and say, and you will ask permission, can I use that story? But each and every tribe, I think, probably has coyote stories, but there are certain stories that are, solely for certain tribes. But like I say, by being out here, we share and we try to do things, so that more and more people become aware. Even though we're similar, we're still different in certain things.
As a member of California Indian Storytelling Association, we really wanted to acknowledge intellectual property rights to stories. And not everybody has coyote as a trickster. Some tribes, especially your Northwest Coast people, are the raven is more of the trickster. And so you have stories about raven stealing the sun and stories like that. And as Dennis said, what we feel is you need to ask permission to peoples to tell its stories. So I only tell stories that are quote unquote more universal or have been given permission to tell. I did tell a couple of stories from our Northwest California traditions, but intellectual property rights.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Intellectual property rights. Great, Kat. Yeah, we all want to respect the different artists, whether they're visual artists or storytelling artists or song artists. We definitely want to respect that. So we have a question here from Kiyomi. She says, or he says, I'm not sure. Sorry about that. Thank you for such beautiful and special experience. How does one be more educated and involved with the culture of different indigenous people of Southern California? So who would like to speak to that, Kat or Dennis?
I think Dennis, because
Okay.
I'm a Northern California tribe.
All right.
It's like you say, right now we are so restricted, but if you, there are probably sites that, and I'm get invited to certain places, from my land, the Newberry Park, the national parks invite different people, not only California natives, but even though there are a lot of California natives that go out there and tell stories and share, you know, maybe their craft or something like that. You just have to probably Google California, you know, tribes and find out the sites that you can find them on and go to when this COVID thing, you know, ends, because that's a big problem right now. That's what we're dealing with right now, right? Is what, you know, it's not hard to congregate and do in one area. So once that's over with, you can probably, you know, Google a lot of things of what's going on in different areas.
Great, thank you for that, Denise.
I want to do a promo for the Fernandino Tataviam tribe of Dennis's, one of Dennis's ancestor tribe. They have quite an educational program online. If you look up Tataviam.org, FernandinoTataviam.org, or PUKU, P-U-K-U-U, they have educational programs that you can view online. And usually Cal State Northridge has a powwow the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So yesterday would have been the CSUN powwow. So you could also look up powwows in Southern California for ways to learn more about the tribes and get connected when we're able to connect.
Thank you, Kat. What we'll try to do is maybe, Kat, you can send those links to us maybe even after the presentation, and we'll put those, we'll try to put some of those things on our YouTube, as well as maybe try to put them up on our website somewhere, just so that if you didn't get all of that, you can get it later from us. So.
It's good that you asked Kat, because I'm technically challenged. So.
That's all right, Dennis. So yeah, well, I had a question actually for Dennis and Kat. Maybe I'll ask Dennis first. So Dennis, who did you learn these stories from, or what and kind of the songs? Like, what was that process like for you, and kind of who taught these stories to you?
I think I told you this before. I always knew who I was through my grandmother, who our people were, you know, that we were Native people. She said, don't ever anybody tell you any differently. We have mixed blood, but we are Native people here from California. And things changed in my life when I turned 40. I mean, like I say, I had never learned even a word of the language, and I'm still nowhere close to even being, you know, fluent in the language, because it's a big process. You know, you have to find people that are actually bringing it back to us, because there are people out there that are trying to bring our language back to the people. And like I said, my grandmother being the influence, telling me that this is who you are. And I had a cousin named Charlie Cook, who was very active in the late 50s with the Native American movement here in California. And he was always trying to get me to come with him. And I was kind of in a marriage that wouldn't allow me to go and be at these places where I could learn. And so once I was out of that marriage, I kind of was free to do what I wanted and to find out my identity and who I was, and be connected with people, a few elders that would teach me song and dance and things like that. So that's how I made my connection to my cousin and the many people that he knew and he connected me with.
Thank you, Dennis. Kat, do you have an answer as well? Let's see, let's spot.
Yes, I do. I was always told by my mom, never tell anyone you're Indian. And her mom told her that because it actually became against the law to hunt Indians in 1924 in California. So I didn't learn from family, but I went to Indiana University in 1962 and got a degree in ethnomusicology, because a lot of our music was collected by anthropologists and stored in Indiana.
Oh.
I started learning some of our songs and stories from anthropologists in Indiana. And then I came back to California, and when we started California Indian Storytelling Association, I met an elder from my tribe, Vivian Hailstone, who was a fabulous storyteller and educational expert and willing to share information and stories. And when I started with California Indian Storytelling, I was a videographer. I was in the background with the camera, and nobody asked me to tell stories. No, you're the camera. And I said, wait, I have a story to tell. It took a while to inch my way in front of the camera. So I'm very respectful of other people's stories, but I'm also grateful to Vivian for her sharing and encouragement.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, thanks so much. I appreciate all the different comments, and we are so appreciative of everyone who's been a part of this today. I think just that sense of community that we all long for, especially with COVID. It's really nice to get a sense and a taste of that here. And I feel like I definitely have continued to get a taste of that as I've gotten to know more about Neshkinukat and the group of artists. And it's been such a pleasure to work with all of you. And yeah, I hope for many more opportunities to work with you in the future. We thank you for all of you who have come to be part of this. And yeah, thank you so much. So I don't see any other questions right now. So I guess if anybody wants to unmute and say hello to one another,
Mahogany.
you can do that.
I'm so sorry. Dennis, I have a question for you.
Go
You were
for it.
talking about how you was able to like identify where your grandmother, what she was. I found out that I'm Cherokee Indian and I don't know where to start or where to search besides going to Ancestry, which I feel is not really helpful. I feel like I need to do the footwork.
You know what Cal would probably be able to say more on this, but what I've heard is that you have to know names, you have to know relations, so that you connect with those relations, because that's the big part of it. A lot of the our grandparents and stuff were adopted out of Native families and taken away, and they had different marriages where they may have assimilated into other cultures, and they got, they had different names and different things. And so it's hard. You have to be specific and know a lot of information, or maybe just a little bit in the beginning. Kat probably would know more about that, because that's how you find out. But you have to know relations of who you're actually related to find out where that tree goes, where that lineage takes you. Okay?
Right. Thank you.
Hi. You could go to the American Indian Resource Center.org. It's a LA County library in I don't know, I think Highland Park. And maybe Henry Park. Anyway, Kasia Samel, who's the curator there now, they have archives, micro video stuff online. But like Dana said, you need to know a name of somebody, and then you can trace it back through them to find ancestors during different census periods.
I didn't know.
That is beautiful. I did not know that.
Yeah, and so I'm sorry, I may have been saying your name wrong. Can you say your name for me so I make sure to say it right? Is it Mahogany?
Me?
Yeah.
No, Mahogany.
Mahogany. Okay, so I am saying it right. I just wanted to make sure. So also we got a message from Helena, and maybe we can connect you up with her. She says she's the author of The Red Black Connection and would be happy to assist you in your search for family connections. So if you wanted to type in like your email, I can connect you up with her through email. Looks like we have someone else who would like to say something. Yeah.
Tahlequah is the Cherokee capital in Oklahoma, and I believe they have archives there, and also the Trail of Tears Museum, I think, have a genealogy place at the Trail of Tears, both in Tahlequah in Oklahoma. You might find that because that's the Cherokee capital.
Oh, wonderful.
Is it possible that I send my email and you guys send me any information you have so I can do the research?
Yeah,
American Indian Resource Center here in California, and go to Tahlequah. You have to have someone who was on the Dawes census in I think that was 1911. I'm not sure is the date, but if you have somebody who was on that census, then they'll be able to trace you back through Cherokee.
I think also, some people don't even need that. My husband was part Cherokee. And so I know that he was not on this register. The family were not. They decided not to be. But I do know they did manage to get some of the relatives through that.
So what I'm thinking maybe we could do, because I know there's a lot of different information that's been given to you, Mahogany. So if you wanted to go ahead and type your information, your email in to the, into the chat area, or you can send it to me at Kim Hocking, HOCKING @AOL.com. I can try to get to you some of this different information from all these, I have contacts from a number of people who have talked. And if you want to be able to help out, you can send me your email and I can connect you up just through email. So I think that's really wonderful, just to be able to have this sort of connection between, those who know more and those who are wanting to know more. I think it's beautiful. So Michael says Eastern Band of Cherokees in North Carolina, Echo EBCC Indians website, I think. So I'll try to get this information to you via email because it's kind of hard to do verbally, obviously. So great. All right. Well, I'm glad you jumped back in there and asked your question and spoke up, Mahogany. And yeah, anything else? If anybody wants to unmute and say hello to others, you may. Oh, go ahead.
Any way of seeing more of the exhibition?
Well, yeah. Would you like to have us walk around right now, or yes? Sure. Yeah, I can ask Dave to go ahead and do that. He could do a swap.
Plus, it's online. Tell her it's online.
Yeah, you're right. It is. It's online as well. So it's on greenleeartspace.org. You can see all the pictures from the exhibition there, as well as we have our opening. And on the opening, you do get to see more of the exhibition, as well as you can hear interviews from many of the artists. So check out our YouTube channel as well.
Gotcha.
So I think Dave will do a quick walkthrough. Obviously, anyone who wants to sign off now, you may, but we'll do just a quick walkthrough, looking at some of the different artwork. Bye, Kat.
I'm waving at Marie, and I'm waving at Belina, and I'm waving at Juan, and I'm waving at Nadia.
I'm waving back. Love all of you.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Kim Hocking and family.
Bumapimina.
Yeah.
Have a good day, ladies.
You will.
Thank you, everyone.
This was
Thank
a wonderful presentation.
Yay.
Absolutely wonderful. My parents also said, don't let anybody know you're Indian. If they ask you, don't lie, but never offer that information.
Yes, it was a big
And of
secret in
course
our
now, when people
My mother told everybody she was
yeah,
Italian.
when people find out I'm Indian now, they prove it.
My mother told
But now when they
everyone-
ask, what now when they find out I'm Indian, they say, prove it.
That's when you pull out your card out of your hip pocket and say,
Don't
"Here
worry,
it
I've got it.
is." That's what I do. Prove it.
Me too. Yeah.
Look at my little cups.
Yeah, the
They
cups are
always
little.
say that, don't they?
Yeah, there's Marie's cups and Belena's beautiful quilt.
Oh,
Yeah.
the quilt, everything.
Peggy's beading.
Peggy.
It'll be up for a few more days. If you wanted to come see it with a mask in person, you could email me. So we've had some people come in. I keep very distant from you and we wear masks. So
I love the fish.
Nadia
Nadia
Reed did the
fish.
fish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nadia.
Yay,
Is that
Nadia.
the coyote?
Karina.
Yeah, that's Karina.
And the Cherokees are the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians that are
Yeah, they're
based
two
in
different.
North Carolina.
Yes. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
There's
wonderful.
Oklahoma and Tahlequah, Oklahoma, and the
Okay.
Eastern Cherokee and Cherokee, North Carolina.
Wonderful. All right. So I did have someone ask one more
Motion
question.
sickness.
Oh, yeah.
At you.
Thanks, Dave. Oh, wait, hold on. I think we're looking a little bit more here. Someone asked me a question. They asked, do you have
Belina. Marie.
Oh, never mind.
I'm shouting out artist names.
Oh,
Wonderful. All
I'm-
right.
I need Dramamine.
Yeah.
We all got a little bit sick. Yay, bravo. Thank you for
Yay.
that
the
tour.
beautiful art.
Isn't
Thank
it?
you
I
so much.
know. So yeah, so there was a question that Kiyomi asked for me, and she said, they asked me, and I'm sorry, I don't know. Do you have a piece in the exhibition that you felt had a special connection to you? So that's a really neat question. I like
That's
that
a good
question. I
question.
haven't actually thought about that. I think one of the pieces that I connected to a lot was Marie's piece, that is the mask that has many different parts to it. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Dave, can you go over to that mask and maybe we can show it? The one, yeah, I love that one
Oh,
because
yeah.
the title of that is We Are All Related, and it has pieces from all over the world. So it has little pieces of it from all over the world. I don't know if you want to say any more about it, Marie.
Well, it has those little worry dolls from South America. And it has rabbit fur from our beautiful Barbara Drake, who conducted a rabbit fur cloak Kaweah workshop. And I saved a little piece of the rabbit fur from that. And it has fabrics from all over, feathers from all over. There are deer toes. My family name was Deer, so there are deer toes in it. And a bronze bell from Indonesia, I think. And then the feathers and the fabrics, you know, are woven, and they come from all over. And there's yeah, and the beads, of course, there's coral and turquoise and sandstone, and it just a whole lot of things in there.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love that way that we can be so connected together, and just those connections that we see between cultures and people, and those things that we hold dear. I think that it's, for me, it's beautifully represented in this piece, which is still for sale, and we have it online on our online gallery. So go ahead, Kat. You had something you wanted
I really loved the community collages too. I really was impressed with what people did from the community and sent pictures to you to include in a special community segment. That was terrific.
Yeah, so you can still you can see those on our website. It's, you know, the We Are All Related project, which Kat did a wonderful presentation for us on that. We've had a lot of views on that. And you can still even do it after the fact. A lot of people have looked at their connections to their family and their history and different symbols and words and things like that. And a number of the artists also created those pieces. So if you look on our website, greenleeartspace.org, you can see all of those. We have things from all the way from Brazil and from England. And so it was really neat to have people participate from all over. So yeah, wonderful.
Hi, Tina.
Hi, Tina. Oh, yeah, Tina, I forgot your name. I'm so sorry. I said, oh, the wonderful woman who gave the blessing on the other. Yay. Tina's on our opening blessing. And so she has a beautiful son that she created. And so we have, Tina, I don't know if you've noticed, but we have over 400 views on our opening. So a lot of people have seen that, which is amazing. Awesome. Well, it's so fun to see all of your lovely faces. I'm happy for that. And yeah, thank you so much. All right. Well, I guess it's maybe time to say goodbye. It's so sad, such sweet sorrow, but hopefully we will get together and do something like this again. And yeah, thank you so much for everyone who has been a part of this. So blessings to all of you today.